Rosemary is said to be great at promoting hair growth, and a lot of people actually swear by using rosemary on their hair. I have seen a lot of people use rosemary as a DIY, and also some brands have an entire hair care range with rosemary. In today's video, I'm going to be giving an in-depth analysis on rosemary. We're going to be talking about the benefits of rosemary, how to use rosemary on your natural hair, and at the end of this video, I am hoping that you gain enough knowledge about rosemary so that you can make informed decision whether you want to use rosemary on your natural hair or not. Hello guys, my name is Angela of Afroleague, and I am the one you should listen to when it comes to growing healthy long natural hair. I try to simplify natural hair care so that anyone that comes across my video can actually learn something from my video. They can make informed decision when it comes to caring for their hair and possibly grow their hair long and healthy. So you should subscribe to my channel and turn on your post notifications so that you do not miss future videos. So if you are aware of what is going on online right now, especially if you're on TikTok, you know that there is this whole conversation about the rosemary mint oil from Mielle Organics. So they have an entire collection of products infused with rosemary, and I did not know about the brand Mielle until 2022, but I really did not pay much attention to it until this whole conversation started on TikTok. When I went back to research on this range of products, I actually saw reviews about these products from like 3 or 4 years ago. This product has been in the market for that period of time, and typically it is known as products for people with coily, kinky hair texture. But recently, people with not so coily hair, have been promoting the product, and they've been raving about how the product is great at promoting hair growth and treating alopecia. That particular growth oil from Mielle, the rosemary mint oil, that product has been sold out, and people can't even find the product online to buy. Like, people who have been using this product for years suddenly cannot have access to this product. So because of that whole situation, there's a lot of conversation about rosemary oil. People have been talking about making their own rosemary oil. And because I have not used rosemary on my hair before, either as a DIY or product infused with rosemary, I think I've not used any product infused with rosemary. So I decided to make a research to help with the decision of if I want to use rosemary on my hair, or if I would advise any other person to use rosemary on their natural hair. The first thing we need to know is, what is rosemary? Rosemary is an aromatic shrub that originated from the Mediterranean area. So these are countries that surround the Mediterranean Sea. We have some countries in Africa, you have Greece, you have Israel, you also have some countries in Europe. So countries in that area were known for using rosemary. But right now you can find rosemary in almost every part of the world, because obviously the world is a global village now. And something that is interesting to note is that I have noticed that most plants that have been popping up in recent times as remedies for hair growth or hair issues are mostly aromatic plants. For example, we have clove. Clove and rosemary are both aromatic plants, and they are mainly used in cooking. But in recent times, we've been using them for hair care. So this just shows me that we might be onto something when it comes to using rosemary for natural hair. But then again, this is not a comparison video between using cloves or rosemary for natural hair care. I just wanted to point that out as something that I have observed. Now that we know what rosemary is, the next question that I feel is important to ask when it comes to wanting to try out new things on your natural hair is to ask if the claims made about a particular product or plant are scientifically proven. A lot of claims have been made about rosemary. They tell you rosemary promotes hair growth, rosemary cures alopecia, rosemary can do this and that and that. Yes, it is good we're hearing all of these claims from people, but it's also important that there is some sort of scientific backing for all of those claims, because we do not just want to rely on what people say. People could be lying. I could come on here and lie and make a video and lie about it, but I'm not going to lie to you. Everything that I'm saying right now are things I've read online, articles, scientific articles, medical papers and stuff. I'm going to have them linked in the description, so if you want to go and check out those things for yourself, to know for yourself and not just rely on what I'm saying, I'm going to have all of the articles that I've read linked in the description, so you can get the information from the direct source. So from what I've read, yes, there's a research on rosemary oil in relation to hair growth, and I've seen some people talk about those research, but there's an angle to the research that I've not seen people talk about, and in this video I want to explore those angles. Something that I was looking out for when I was researching for this topic is that I wanted to see how people from the Mediterranean area were using rosemary in their hair care. I was thinking that at least since rosemary originated from that area, there should be some information on how they used rosemary in their hair care. Sadly, I did not find any information on how rosemary is being used in hair care in the Mediterranean culture. It is possible that they use rosemary in their hair care, but I did not find any information on that. So if you have any information pertaining how rosemary was used in hair care in the Mediterranean area, please let me know in the comment section and I would want to check it out. But something I noticed in that culture is the fact that they use rosemary heavily in their food. It has a nice fragrance, so they use it heavily in their food. Something I also noticed was that they would infuse rosemary into olive oil, and that oil would be used in almost every meal that they made. This just reminds me of how we say, as much as it is good to have hair care products that you apply on your hair from the outside for hair growth, what you also consume, what also goes on inside of you, it's an even important factor when it comes to the general health of your hair. And I saw some articles linking the Mediterranean diet with hair care and hair growth, although it's not from a medical standpoint. And I think that we might be onto something when it comes to using rosemary in hair care. But then again, I am sure using rosemary in cooking to see a significant difference in the health of one's hair is not going to be a one-time thing. It is something that should be done consistently for months or maybe even for years to be able to notice any difference. Now that we have that out of the way, the next big question is, what does science say about rosemary? This is where we have all of the tea, all of the information that you would need. So listen to me carefully in this part. So a randomized control trial was carried out to compare the clinical efficacy of rosemary oil in the treatment of androgenetic alopecia. The comparison was made between rosemary oil and minoxidil 2%. So basically, they had two groups of people. The first group of people were given rosemary oil who all had androgenetic alopecia, and then there was another group of people that were given minoxidil 2%. So that is the medication, the clinical medication that would typically be prescribed when it comes to treating that type of alopecia. So after 3 months, both groups of people came back, and the researchers found out that there was no significant difference in group 1, people who were using rosemary on their hair. Neither was there any difference on group 2, people who were using minoxidil 2% on their hair. There was no difference in both groups. So they went back to their lives. So after 6 months, they came back, and the scientists observed that the people in group 1 actually had significant growth in their hair. So as the people in group 2 who were given the minoxidil 2%, there was also a significant growth in their hair. But another important thing that they noticed is that people who were given rosemary oil for their hair, they had a slight difference in hair growth in comparison to the second group of people. But then at the end of the research, it is said that that difference is not significant enough for researchers to actually say that rosemary oil is a lot more effective than minoxidil 2%. So basically, yes, there was a difference. Yes, rosemary oil had a slight edge over minoxidil, but it's not that big of a difference that would be a groundbreaking discovery. But there was also something that the researchers noticed. They noticed that people who use rosemary on their hair did not experience itchy scalp, but people who use minoxidil on their hair actually did experience worse itchy scalp than they had before they were put on the medication. So from this research, it actually took 6 months, 6 whole months, that is half of a year, to notice any difference when applying rosemary topically on your hair. This just goes to prove what I've been saying on this channel every time, that hair growth does not happen in a day. Hair growth is not magical. Hair growth does not happen fast. If you're using any product, any DIY store-bought product, you have to take your time and use that product for a while before you can notice any significant difference. So the research I talked about was not the only research that was done on rosemary. There's another research, but I think that is the only research that was done on humans. You can correct me if I am wrong. The second research I found is a research that was done on mouse using rosemary extract. So in the second research, it was discovered that rosemary extract improved the hair regrowth in mice that experienced hair regrowth interruption due to testosterone treatment. And also in that research, they realized that rosemary extract promoted hair regrowth in mice that had their dorsal area shaved. So they had some mice and they shaved their belly area. They started applying rosemary extract there, and they noticed that it promoted hair growth. This particular research was carried out in 2013. With all of this information that I have shared, we can notice that there are not a lot of research on the benefits of using rosemary oil for hair regrowth. The ones that I looked into do not promise instant regrowth. In fact, rosemary oil works almost as well as clinical products, except for the fact that the rosemary oil was said to reduce itchy scalp. It is also advisable that you use rosemary oil because at least there is a research on that, and it is more potent when you use rosemary in its oil form. Rosemary oil ability to promote hair growth is highly dependent on the cause of your hair loss. People experience hair loss due to various reasons. It could be due to hormonal imbalance, it could be due to infections, it could be due to androgenetic alopecia, it could be due to chemotherapy. So there's not a lot of research or information on using rosemary oil on various forms of hair loss if you want to regrow your hair. But one thing I would say is that you can try it out, and if all factors line up in your favor, you may just be able to regrow your hair using rosemary oil. Will I be using rosemary oil on my hair? The truth is that right now I have not decided if I want to use rosemary on my hair or not. Another thing that I worry about, like I said earlier, you have to use it for at least 6 months before you can see any difference. And honestly, I think I am lazy. I'm too lazy to be consistent with using any product for that long period of time. I am sure I'm going to forget, but I might be making a video on how to DIY your rosemary oil, considering the fact that people are now buying out all of the rosemary oil in stores. So I'll make a video on how to DIY your own rosemary oil. So you should consider subscribing to my channel and turn on your post notifications so that you'll be notified when I upload that video. Another thing that I forgot to mention in this video is that from the first research carried out on rosemary oil in a group of people is that you have to actually apply the rosemary oil directly on your scalp to see any significant change. I hope that this video is packed with enough knowledge so that you can make informed decision when it comes to your hair care. Do not forget to give this video a thumbs up if you learned a thing or two. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.